ahead. You started. Oh.
Together almighty, we are the 99%. You can stick your voice and vaccines up your arms. You can stick your voice and vaccines up your arms. You can stick your voice and vaccines. Stick your voice and vaccines. Stick your voice and vaccines up your arms. We are the 99%. We are the 99%. Singing we are the 90, together we are the mighty, we are the 99%. Rather be a human. I'd rather be a human than a slave. I'd rather be a human, touching the human. Rather be a human than a slave. We are the 99%. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 90. Together we are mighty. We are the 99%. You can stick a new order up your arm. You can stick a new order up your arm. You can stick a new order. Stick a new order. Stick a new order.
And here we go, live at last. Hi, I'm Doug Forrest with the Myth is Canada, and tonight we have Mr. Cullen McDonald from Hugs Over Masks and Kellyanne Wolf from The Line Canada. And of course, Miranda Remillard is here from the War Memorial in Ottawa, and she's with Canadian Revolution. And Miranda, who's your guest in here tonight with you?
I have Tara with me.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, how are you doing? So we'll go around the table. I'll give Cullen the mic for a few minutes to let him know what's happening with Hugs Over Masks. Go ahead, Cullen.
Awesome. Thank you, Doug. Awesome, guys. What's going on? My name is Cullen McDonald. I represent the group Hugs Over Masks. I work shoulder to shoulder with Vlad, the founder of the group. We are a group, a nonpartisan group of families, Canadians, kids, you name it. We are a group that represents, of course, against the Hugs Over Masks, the masking of our people in Canada. We're much more than that, though. That was just for us to sort of reach the public. It's kind of one of the more obvious things that's going on right now that doesn't make sense. The science is settled. Masks don't work. We know this. We know the fine aerosol particles penetrate through these cloth masks. We know the science from the 2015 study that they increase the risk of viral infection. So it begs the question, what is going on? And I think that the masking of Canada and the world is really a good place for us to get people involved with our movement. Because of course there's a lot going on, right? And it's a lot bigger than just masks. But our whole thing is we have to build the movement. So no matter what we want to do, we need the numbers. We need to grow this movement and we need to wake people up. So Hugs Over Masks is a great sort of entry point for people because it's something we can all relate to. And it really kind of gets that gut feeling, that visceral feeling that something's not right. And then it opens the door to, the movement that we're building here. So it's really cool. What we do, we have 25 chapters across North America. We're blowing up in the States right now with our partnership with Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. We have these chapters which hold what we call Festival of Life rallies. So they're protests, but done in a little bit of a different way. Instead of the traditional protests where you bring your signs and, you're angry and you chant, we're really celebrating humanity. So we're, of course, it's a kid-friendly zone. We have music, we have a few speeches, but it's just a great outlet for us to connect and start brainstorming, talking to like-minded people. The other side of our group is our activism. So what we do during the week with our outreach chapters is street activism, because of course, protests are great, and we've had some great protests like August 29th in Ottawa, and we've done a lot of cool stuff, but really it's about us getting out, hitting the streets, and having those conversations, those one-on-one with these people that are asleep, to wake them up to really what's going on. So that's kind of what we do. That's the two sides of Hugs Over Mass. We're a resource for information. We're a movement, a community, and then we're also doing our outreach work. So check us out, hugsovermass.ca. We have, again, events in a bunch of major cities, 25, over 20 in Canada. So that's kind of a brief overview of what we do. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Cullen. And I'm sure the audience is now going to go over to hugsovermass.ca and look at your website and probably get involved. The next one on our roundtable tonight is, Kellyanne Wolf from the Line Canada. We'll just let her have the microphone.
Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing? So my name is Kellyanne Wolf. I'm the executive director for the Line Canada, which is the movement that has been throwing rallies everywhere across Canada, and that has brought all the other organizations together as one to fight against all this nonsense that we're facing today, all the abuse of power with respect to COVID. And it goes much deeper than that. We've been working closely with Hugs Over Masks, in unison, basically, with Hugs Over Masks since we all began at Queen's Park about 22 weeks ago. We've been working side by side with the Canadian Revolution. We support them 100%. And they're up there on the Hill, and you'll hear from Miranda afterwards. We have an upcoming rally in Toronto on the 26th, but we are not yet releasing the location. Not quite yet. It's a big surprise. I'm also the host of Across the Lines, which is a new platform with my partner, Lamont Daigle, and to try to bring everybody information from across the lines, all the organizations, and so you can learn about the different organizations, their ideologies, or their positions, and their goals, and who the leaders are. So that's basically me in a nutshell for now.
Well, thank you very much, Kellyanne. I want to go to Miranda, who's up on the Hill, or up on the War Memorial right now from Ottawa. This is week 10, Miranda, that you've been there. And let's hear what happened this week and what you've got planned for the next week or two coming.
Hi, yeah, we're on week 10. Well, I am. Lots of new campers. Kara's one of them. So this week we have obviously done the open mic on the 7th, the Monday. It went really well. We were working together with Storm the Hill. Vincent, his name is, and he's #StormNation. He planned the event and came up from BC to do it, and was kind enough to let us use his mic system and everything to offer the whole community an open mic day. So that went really well. People really enjoyed that. There was some really heartfelt speeches. It really does connect with the people when you allow them to be the voice. That's pretty much the motto of the Canadian Revolution, it's their voice. So we did that, and then now we're planning some direct action, like Cullen talked about at the schools, because we're just opening up here in Ottawa. The high schools this is their first week, so we're going to start hitting them as of tomorrow with some crazy action. That's all I'll say. I guess the videos will come out. Someone will be videotaping it. So yeah, we're going to hit the schools up, and then I know a lot of people are going to Montreal this weekend for their rally, but here in Ottawa, the CCFR is putting on their gun integrity march. So we're going to hit up that, and we're doing some brainstorming before this actually to see, how to best connect with the gun owners and get them on our side, on board with creating a movement for Canadians that, isn't revolving around another political party. So that's this Saturday. And then we're still planning for the public inquiry. I know Kelly again said that everybody's meeting in Toronto for the 26th, but we're doing a public inquiry in Ottawa for that day, and getting a panel of some of the experts together to hear some testimonies of crimes that people have been experiencing at the hands of the government, everybody's kind of aware of the Stand Up Canada document that just came out. It's an amazing document, emergency. It kind of debunks the emergency orders of all the provinces, so it's a really good document. And I have contacted them, and they're willing to present that as evidence of, okay, what's going on here type thing. So it'll be a really cool event with not really a protest, something different, like where people are sitting, listening. It's a day event, have a meal in between, a little bit more casual. Unfortunately, the limit indoors is still 50 here, so it is going to be outdoors. So weather permitting, it'll go well. But yeah, that's what's happening here.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Now, guys, we're just going to open this up as the roundtable. So anybody with any further, go for it, Kelly.
Oh, you know me. I always have something to say. Miranda, what I was thinking is you guys have the projection screen up there. So because we applied for all the permits and everything for the location that we're doing. So Tony was like, he wants to go forward, like keep going forward in Toronto. So if you guys have the projection screen, maybe we can see, do a watch screen for you guys. And so you can have all the supports from Toronto as well for your event on the 26th. I don't know how you feel about that. We can talk about it after if you want.
Yeah, no, that would work. If you're you mean you're showing the event that we're doing?
Yeah.
Clips of it?
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah. Or just have it running live, right? Just to have it run live, I think it'd be great because then, so there'll be people in Toronto and they get the information because it's important information, and then because we'll have musicians, but they're going to be, we're going to take breaks in between. We don't want to overwhelm. We're going to pull it like Queen's Park normally, Cullen. So instead of having all the speeches, we'll have a little bit of music in between here and there, break it up a bit so we don't overwhelm everybody. Yeah.
And don't forget about Parliament sitting. That's another date Kara just reminded me of. The 23rd, Parliament returns.
Yeah, I think that's why that's why he was aiming for the 26th is because we heard something. What's going on the 30th?
I haven't heard anything.
I thought there was something going on 30th. Doug?
There is so many dates being thrown around right now. It's hard to keep track of them all. I think no matter what, even if we do hold that event, guys, on the same day, 2 different protests, it's about moving this movement as much as we can. So there's a bunch of people that are locked in Toronto. Like they couldn't get to Ottawa, they really wanted to. So I think it's beneficial just to have both on the same day, and let's just flood the internet with our live streams
and support each other.
I think one takeaway I think that we should all discuss, and this is something that I got a bunch of feedback from the 29th, is we really have to focus on leaving the people that come to these protests with some action items, like next steps. Okay, I went to this protest. This is what I learned. What's the plan, right? No matter what we're doing, even with the gun law conversations that we're going to have, the stuff in Montreal coming up. Like we need to leave people with some kind of a, when they come home, they're like, okay, this is the plan.
I agree 100%. It's time to start mobilizing. It's time to start educating and mobilizing at the same time. Like we've been shooting education as much as we can and the information that we all collectively gain as much as we possibly can. And it has been an information campaign for all the organizations. It's time to mobilize. We need to mobilize this country. Look around the world. 20,000, we did great in the pouring rain, but we should have done better and we can do better and we will do better. So, and it's the closer we stick together, the further we're going to go.
Yeah, I agree. We need to start giving them a plan. And part of the hope for the public inquiry was to get great minds like Doug's together. He's kind of a constitutional expert and what goes into that. And then someone that's really an expert on common law and a lawyer and a teacher, and say, okay, now Canada, where are we going to go from here? This public inquiry is to prove that we've exhausted all the systems. People have not found remedy in the legal system whatsoever. And I mean, it's great what Rocco's doing, and it would be great to have him on the panel, but he's too busy. But giving them a next step. So I feel like I've been kind of prepping the people to be ready for us to do a different direction in October. These protests, we're rising people up right now. That's the whole point. We're rising them up. And then, okay, we need to start all communicating and get on board with the solution. We need to change this. Whatever the process might be, Canadians need to decide that. I find if we feed them the answer, it's not going to be as powerful. They need to be a part of that. So I really want to get in contact with maybe like a platform like Vote Canada. I know that's already kind of set up, and have some voting starting. Get people used to the process of voting, even these patriots, right? Have a vote. Okay, we're after this public inquiry, and you've heard the constitutional side, and you've heard all this. We've proven that it's de facto. We've proven all this stuff. Where do we go from here? Take a vote. What do you guys think? You know, that's my hope. Anyways.
I think that's amazing, Miranda. Like that was actually one thing that I wanted to talk about tonight, because what I see, like, so our Facebook group, we have 8,000 members. We all talk to so many people. I think today alone, I probably got 25 messages to me sent to me about a specific group that had this common law expression come out. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people are jumping on these ideas without doing any research at all. What I see is like our movement, I feel like we're very desperate, and a lot of people are making these decisions or at least promoting these things without even knowing about them. So I think that your public inquiry would be like a great, amazing place for people to go to. And that if you're live streaming it, like, we should all be sharing that, because that's what is missing right now, is the critical thinking on our part, on our end, right? So we talk about common law or constitutional conventions or anything like that. We need to do our due diligence and make sure we understand what it is that we're talking about, all of us, and myself and everyone else included, you know?
Yeah, we have a little saying, get educated to get liberated, without actually doing even the most simple basic research. You don't have to be like me, who's a kind of a research hound, or Kath Kerrigan is the same way, and same with Brenda Stetner. We're all that's why we all got together, because we all love to do the research. But you don't have to be that way. You just have to ask the right questions. And the questions you need to ask are of yourself. So how can this help me? And in what way does common law work here in Canada? And those questions are actually quite simple to answer when you start doing just the slightest bit of research on how that comes together. And there's been, I put up in the chat a couple of links to a video that relates to what Cullen was talking about here today. And, it's a simple Google. There are actually 3 videos on this particular gentleman who's selling this common law thing. And and you can go on Google and get this. It's the YouTube videos. And so they're up there. They're well worth watching. Take a half hour of your time. And it's much better than stepping into the pile of dog doo-doo by committing to doing something that only gets you into trouble. And it's so simple to get into trouble. These times, the powers that be are actually looking for ways to come at you. And if you start coming at them in the wrong way, boy, oh boy, you're going to get in trouble. And I can't post your bail.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not just that. It's also, it's very difficult for a lot of people. Like it's legalese, guys. There's an entirely different use of the English language, when it comes to reading legislation and reading the acts. And a lot of Canadians don't, a lot of people don't have the patience or the attention span, so, but I'll tell everybody this, like, I use the Myth is Canada website as a constant place of resource for people to get simplified information that is factual, that is evident, and that you can use and you can easily understand. So you would log on to the mythiscanada.com. Is it .com? It's .com, right? Yeah, it's .com. Yeah,
yes, it's .com and .ca. So either or.
Okay.
Will get you there.
Yeah, and they've got great resources.
Ideally, what should happen, all of these people, like the Kevin Annetts and the Dougs and the Dallases, should get together and have a debate. And then that's what we should broadcast out. That would be my hope.
At the public inquiry.
Your guys' mouths.
Well, and here's the thing. Dallas Hills was asked on 3 occasions to do that. And all we heard from Unify, the people were crickets. I've never spoken to Kevin Annett, and I don't. I don't particularly want to speak to him. When he admitted that the Republic of Canada was all made up and that he was sorry that people went to jail because he created something that was fraudulent.
And
Not a guy,
Thank
not a guy you want to get close to, because you get
Thank
close
you.
to a guy like that, you just want to punch him in the head.
Yeah, well,
I'm
thank
sorry,
you very much.
I'm not a violent person.
No, but thank you, Doug, for clarifying that, because I've had so many messages and people asking me over and over again, is this real? And I'm like, listen, it's very dangerous. Just stay away from it. So if you don't understand what it's saying, then stay away from it. You know, because it's different. Like, I'm being pulled in it. Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of people doing common law stuff, though. It's not just him, right? He just had what Canadians now see as the first success in this, like Cullen said, desperate time. That's what everybody's at. It's a desperate time where they're going to cling on to anything. And that's why it's very important that we educate them in a way that explains each system and what it's, potentially, going to cause, or what could happen, like
It's time for...
It does. And so somehow we need to figure out how to do that.
Well, by the way, Miranda, Kevin has not had success. I was contacted by the people out of Parksville, Oceanside, and the gentleman that actually organized that whole thing. And he called me up after the fact because he was very upset with how Mr. Annette was handling and then promoting and patting himself on the back for doing all of this. And I spoke with this gentleman for about half an hour, 45 minutes, and he was a little bit disappointed because I explained how it can't work, and but he was very excited about how what we're doing at the Myth is a way for a solution, and it will be a success for him. And I said, you didn't waste your time. You learned something. You picked up the phone. You called me. Yeah. There you go.
That's the important thing. Is to get another opinion. And this is what I share with all of our members. It's like, okay, first of all, red flag. If somebody's telling you that they're the only solution, red flag. Like that is an old school sales tactic that if somebody did that when you were trying to buy a car, you would not buy a car from them, right? So we have to think, get a second opinion. Ask somebody else. Ask somebody that you respect, maybe an old stock activist or somebody that look at all the different resources. Like, let's think critically, because this is what sheep do, right? When sheep are in a state of fear, the critical thinking part of your brain turns off and you make decisions out of desperation. We do not have time to waste, guys. We can't waste our time with these things that are going to turn out 2 years or 5 years down the road to be total waste of time. We can't do that. So let's think critically now. And what I want to encourage is, please don't just like Kelly, you had mentioned something like don't even get into it. I would say get into it, get educated. Like if you feel you have the time to invest on common law, do it.
Just to be clear, I didn't say don't get into it. I said they don't have the attention span to get into it. Some people do. Lots of people do. I tend to like to believe that our population is on the more intelligent side of everybody else in the world. But the other thing I wanted to include was that there is this mentality in our society that has been it's like a black and white thing. Can ultimately so people there are alternative. There's always another alternative. There always is.
Exactly.
You might not know it, you might not find it, but you will find it eventually.
Yeah, I think you're cutting out a little bit for me, but I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put words in your mouth. Absolutely, but the last thing I want to do is especially when people are feeling empowered or feeling passionate about something, and then to that, them kind of feel like they were let down or upset and then give up. So I don't want people to feel like they've been let down and then just give up. Like, continue fighting, continue learning. Let's keep the conversation going. But please don't just attach yourself to the one thing you learned about today and then, go.
No, I'll never stop.
Well, and the other side of this coin is, if you actually want to learn about common law itself, the Warrior Calls and Christopher James has wonderful teaching videos up there where he breaks it down. I believe it's over 6 videos, all about common law jurisdiction and how common law works under common law. And it's at thewarriorcalls.ca. Go on his website, and I believe it's the landing page of the website. He has those videos up there, and they will teach you pretty much everything you need to know about common law, because he's done such a wonderful job in researching this and they're short videos. These videos, I don't believe, are longer than 10 minutes each. And so he gives it to you in bite-sized, digestible chunks.
I just wanted to mention something. So somebody on Facebook had just said, you know, so take the fight we have and taking the fight.
Kelly, your internet is no, I don't think.
Oh, is it cutting out?
Because we couldn't hear anything you were saying.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Can you tell people what you just said, please? Thank you.
Yeah. So somebody on Facebook, I just noticed that mentioned to take this fight into to cities and to take it local where the grassroots really start. And we've been doing that.
Yeah.
You know, we have the line, for instance. Can you hear me?
Now we can. You're trying.
Can you hear me okay, guys? Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. So the Line Canada has chapters in every single city across the entire country. So, you know, every city in every province we've got chapters.
We can't hear you, Kelly. You're gonna have to give up.
Is done. Oh God.
It's okay.
You got lots of great things to say. We just can't hear you.
It was Miranda last week, so let's turn the mic.
Pipe in and tell them that, like, they were saying, you know, take the fight to your hometown, and there is movements doing that, and we are doing that. And if I had it my way, we'd have this in every city across the country. This is the hometown for lots of the people in this camp. They live in Ottawa, so I would love to take it to my hometown, my home city, and start doing street work, because it is an encampment is the ultimate of street work possible. It is the you know, it's outreach beyond 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're meeting.
Well, shameless plug for Hugs Over Mass. Like, that's exactly what we're doing, right? So we have, like I said, 25 chapters, over 20 in Canada, and a lot of our members are, you know, they're already affiliated with the Line Canada. So you see, it's like half Hugs, half Line. So people are already getting together, and we have this theory, or this saying. You know, it's not our saying, but if you build it, they will come. So connect with people in your communities, right? Find out if there's a Hugs Over Mass, and really get connected, because no one's going to do it for us. So if you want a grassroots movement, build one. Like, let's do this together. And we have resources for you between the Line Canada, Hugs Over Mass, and Canadian Revolution, and also the Myth is Canada and every other group. We can get you in contact with people in your towns. Just reach out.
Yep. I'd like to mention the Forum for Canadian Sovereignty too. They've been really pulling. So
Doug, you're muted, buddy.
I keep forgetting to unmute my microphone. I start talking, I forget. But Kelly, if you have a whiteboard with a black eraser pen, and you could write on it what you're trying to say, because nobody can hear you.
Yeah.
Timothy style.
Yeah.
Anyways, going back to Parliament, we'll talk about that the first day they sit. I know there's not a lot of people that can make a weekday work, but if you can, you definitely need to show up on that day. I think that we need to make some noise, and in between then and the 26th is our plan is to hit the media. So anyone staying in Ottawa for that first week of Parliament, we can hit the media with something. I don't know.
Protest outside their buildings.
Yeah, do something, because we want them to cover at least some of the public inquiry, because that's important, I think. So. Well,
and at the end of the day, they'll find Trudeau guilty, and they'll give him another $200 fine for sending $900 million into his own bank account. I kid you not. That's what the fine is if he's found guilty. Don't forget, he was found guilty over the SNC Lavalin case, and they gave him a $200 fine, and that was it. That was it. That is the maximum fine they can give you. So there you go. Woohoo! Public inquiry. Oh yeah, that's gonna. I'm sorry. I just find that absolutely. You read their documents. You read Miranda, when we were there on the 29th. Remember, what building did I point to that contains the Canadian government?
That contains the what?
The government of Canada.
The Privy Council, the office of the Prime Minister. I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well,
85 Spark Street, not the Parliament buildings.
right across from CBC.
Exactly.
Today, actually, eh? He came out in his little black mask outside his office. We have someone camping on the east end of the office. Now we have campers on the west end of the office, and he can't get out without seeing one of our protests.
Well, I was talking to a gentleman that went into the CBC downtown here in Toronto, and he was wearing a mask, and he walked into the building, and the security guard came over to him and says, "Take that off." And he goes, "What? Masks are mandatory." He says, "All federal buildings are masks are exempt." So go figure.
Yeah, but he was just wearing it from the car to the building for show, and then he would take it off because we've heard the same thing. No federal building.
So I guess the federal buildings are COVID-19 exempt. They must have sent out a bulletin to the COVID-19 virus, wherever it's staying at, and said, "Yeah, you can't come into our federal buildings because, it's not nice. Go everywhere else, especially those Trump rallies in the States. Get down there. Stay out of Biden's basement," by the way. So I'm sorry.
Smartest virus in history.
Yeah, they don't go to the Black Lives Matter protest, but they go to, the peaceful, and the Black Lives Matter are peaceful protest. I got it. So I was watching the new Trump was in South Carolina, whatever, did a big rally there. And he even said to the micro, he come up to the podium, he says, "We are not at a rally today. We are at a peaceful protest." And all the people behind him were holding up, "This is a peaceful protest sign." So we don't need to wear masks because it's a peaceful protest. It was hilarious.
Oh my My daughter showed me this picture of her emoji, or not emoji, but her Bitmoji or whatever, that, a cartoon of yourself, whatever the heck those are called. For the kids, they have masks on, and now they say BLM on the masks. These emojis, or not emojis, but like Bitmoji.
Yeah, caricatures.
Not enough to have a mask. It actually says a mask with BLM written on it. Like, how psychologically profiled are they making these children?
And it's like what we're doing on, I may as well let everybody know, we have a special event roundtable. It was going to be a 2-hour roundtable on Sunday night for the concerned parents of Canada, and really need to start asking those questions. Why are we sending our children into these schools without them following the proper protocols? What you were talking about with what was it? Stand Up Canada, and they did their. I actually posted that up on the Mythos Canada webpage. I pulled it off the website. I PDF'd it and put it up on the Facebook so people could download it and read it on their phones without actually having to be on the internet. So there's a PDF of that I put up on the Mythos Canada on Facebook for you guys to download and have, because at some point the government is going to attack that site and get it pulled down, and by either calling their ISP or what have you. But
that's a good idea. Put that on our site too.
Okay, I'll share it over there.
Well, I actually I was just on a call with Paula, Tanya, and Shirley. They're sort of the leadership team of Stand Up Canada, and we were talking about just that. So this is actually a great little segue. We need to get that out in every single place we can. So on every group, and get every single person to share it. For those on this call who don't know what that is, so it's the Declaration of Emergency, and they do an awesome job breaking down each province and exactly why this pandemic and the lockdowns and everything was unjustified, because it doesn't even meet the definition of a pandemic. They're using wartime emergency orders. It doesn't even meet any of these arbitrary things that they've come up with. It never did. It doesn't now, and it's really up to us to share this information, because like Doug, you were saying, you know, with the needing biohazard containers for masks, same idea. There's so many logical things that aren't being talked about that we have to be the ones to share it.
Well, and I'd be delighted. I don't have any contact for them, but I'd be delighted if you wouldn't mind reaching out to them, giving them my number, because I'll put them on a roundtable with us for the concerned parents. I think that would be a wonderful forum for them to go out there. And we could start off for next Wednesday. If they're available next Wednesday, we'll bring them in because Miranda's going to be still there on the hill. On the War Memorial. And we'll be doing another roundtable. That'll be week 11. So if they'd like to come on a primer, I can't get them on this Sunday because we actually have a huge lineup. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a biggie on Sunday. It's a 2-hour special event, and we've got some very, very special guests coming on to give you some insight as to what's going on in those schools. The teacher from Mississauga, he's coming back to tell you how his first week was. But I'm going to leave the rest for you. You have to come and listen to the people that will be there. It's going to be a lot of very, very good information. And like I say, I'd be delighted to put them on our next Concerned Parents, which we're going to be doing off of Sundays, very possibly a week Sunday. We'll get that the next one up and running as well. But for now, we haven't got anything scheduled beyond this Sunday, the 13th, 9 p.m. on the Myth is Canada on YouTube and the Myth is Canada on Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, no problem, Doug. Well, so you had mentioned Wednesday. So you're saying not this Sunday, but next Sunday then?
No, what I'm saying is we can bring them in on Wednesday because we do this roundtable every Wednesday, so long as Miranda and the Canadian Revolution is at the War Memorial. I'm doing a roundtable with her. So I'd be delighted to have them come in next week.
Great. I think they would love to come on the Wednesday show, and we can talk a little bit about. I've actually contacted them to see if they would present that at the public inquiry, present their documentation, show the proof of it. Mostly valid to Ontario. I said be really specific with Ontario, and then they can just do a brief summary of how that also carried out in the rest of the country, just because we'll have an Ontario audience most likely. So they're willing to share that document at the public inquiry, which is a great testimony. So yeah, having them up in these roundtables leading up to that would be great.
Well, and for our listening audience tonight, I was sent a link by a gentleman on Facebook to look at this, and people send me stuff all the time, and believe it or not, I actually do go and check out everybody. Whoever sends me stuff, I always go check it out. And I went on there and I was reading a little bit of it. And usually, you read a little and then and you read a little more and then I couldn't stop reading this thing. I was absolutely amazed at how well this was researched and written. Oh my God. I actually wrote them an email thanking them for doing such a darn good job on that.
He was excited. He was really excited, folks. He sent it to me too this morning. Well, yeah, it's adorable. There's lots of stuff going on. I'd like to make a little bit of an announcement, if it's okay, guys, if you don't mind. So, I was contacted by Brian Danielle, who is the chair of the International Conference for Health and Freedom, and they're hosting usually twice a year. I'm breaking up again. Can you hear me now? Okay, guys, I'll just hold off because if I keep breaking up, then I don't want to. Can you hear me?
No, you broke up until you said, "Can you hear me?" And then we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
I'll just wait. It's okay. I'll just be the listener today.
Well, okay. Kellyanne has an announcement, and she told it to me. If you type it into the private chat, I will, or Cullen will, read it out. I can't see what.
No, the chat on this call.
Yeah, on the private chat. So, and it's really cool. Anyways, go ahead.
While she does that, if anyone wants to submit testimony to the public inquiry and is across Canada listening, If you have evidence of a crime, or if you have a story to tell, a profound story that you've been done wrong by the government, and maybe Ed can put this under the screen, the email that you can send your information to, or to ask more questions, is GOV crime inquiry at protonmail.com. So that's govcrimeinquiry at protonmail.com for anyone who wants to either submit testimony or ask more questions about the event itself.
I'm sure you'll be flooded. There's lots of crimes against humanity going on right now. No shortage of that. I'm hearing some stuff coming from parents right now with their kids in school, and man, is it ever disturbing what they're doing. You talk about psychological trauma.
It really is disturbing, and to think about all the stories prior to this school opening up, of people being forced to die alone in hospital, or being refused medical treatment, and being, pretty much unable to sue due to malpractice because it's an emergency order in place, and their surgery or their procedure wasn't considered or deemed essential.
Well, and the other side of this coin too is if they're not following their own regulations for this, then what are they really doing here? And that's the one question we need to ask them. If their own regulations state that they're supposed to go through a certain protocol for calling a declaration of an emergency, and they're not following those protocols, why not? So Kellyanne has written in the chat, and I'm going to announce this for her. This is the International Conference of Health and Freedom on October 25th. Vlad from Hugs and Masks will be joining myself and other members of the line to speak amongst the likes of Dr. Buttar, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, and Del
Bigtree.
Del Bigtree. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I believe that is in Toronto, right, Kelly? You can give us a thumbs up. I think it's being held in Toronto.
Okay, can you hear me now?
For now.
Okay, so for now. So it's going to be online. Normally it is held in Toronto, sometimes in Vancouver. So but it will be online. It's going to be like $5 a ticket to attend this conference. It's a 5-day conference, and they're willing to extend it if need be. So, but we've got healthcare practitioners from all over the world, virologists, immunologists, doctors, you name it, and we're all coming together. This is about health and freedom. And so the line was we were contacted by Brian, I think, I can't pronounce his last name properly. I think it's Gengal. But he's amazing. This guy, he's amazing. He's done these conferences and summits for years, and they write a book, and it goes bestseller for the first 4 months of spring every single year. And I get my own chapter in this book, which is fantastic. So I get to write a whole chapter, folks. It's going to be fun. It's my first official publication in regards to all this. It's really exciting for me. So especially with my background. So, and I get a full hour to lecture on democracy and the fundamental necessity of democracy, constitutional reform. So you can guarantee I'll be mentioning the Canadian Revolution and what's going on. And I'm very happy to have Vlad accompanying me. And everybody else from the line, of course, right? Lamont, he's my partner for everything we do. So, but yeah, that'll be coming up on October 25th. So, well, it actually starts on the 19th. So, but there'll be much more information to come. Doug will have it on the Mythos. Everybody will have it. We'll make sure everybody's got it. So I just had to tell everybody because I'm so happy.
Excellent. No, but I mean, you were just bubbling over with this information, and it's great, and it's wonderful to see this kind of stuff and all these people coming together. And we have. I keep saying to people, get off the couch, get involved. If you don't want to get involved for yourself, get involved for your neighbor's kids if you don't have kids of your own, or if you don't have grandkids, or if you do have grandkids, get involved for them. It's not about us, it's about everybody. And the only way that we're going to have any change is to do it. As the song says, we are the 99%. And the only way that we can get to them is to come together, because that's where we have the power. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like I said before, we should start empowering them by using the vote platform, since we are a democracy. So we need to start being creative with how to get the patriots all kind of working together, right? The protests are great. There's a show of unity when we're all standing there. We can't even decide on the same color to wear, but there's a show of unity just being there. I'm not discrediting that at all. But if we could get them all working, cohesively, and I think a vote on something would be a good idea. So stay tuned for that after this inquiry. We need to vote on something. I don't know what it's going to be, but we need to start getting, collaborative effort towards a solution. And I think that's the first step, is making us feel like one and making us all feel included. So.
okay. I'm going to, because somebody just put up something more about common law. So I'm going to end this, not the roundtable. I'm just going to end this thing about common law. And all the people in the listening audience, this is how it works. Common law is a jurisdiction of law. Okay, it's a wonderful jurisdiction of law. Canada hasn't had a jurisdiction of common law since 1931. December the 11th, 1931, we left the common law jurisdiction on December the 12th because the government went de facto. They moved into maritime, law of the sea. If you hold a common law court or use any kind of common law documents here in Canada, the de facto government and the court system in Canada does not recognize it. If you hold a common law court and make declarations in common law, it is not recognized. They have the guns, they have the badges. You want common law, come to the Mythos Canada, understand how that we got to get together, hold a constitutional convention, elect delegates, have the clause of common law in our constitution, make sure that the judicial and the courts are common law courts, and that the government that we, the people, create recognizes it. Other than that, quit wasting your time, please.
Mic drop right there. I like it.
Yeah. There's a whole common law movement worldwide, and I think that's also why people are getting caught up on this common law thing. We have to keep bringing Canadians back to that we need to establish that. Just like Doug said, we need to put that into what we're writing, what we're doing. It's got to be there, because, it is the fundamentals of our rights, of our God-given rights that we have when we're born. So it's important to people, and that's why they're latching onto it. And it's hard to blame them for that. But this is why we need that information being pumped in one area, one location, all together, comparing all the systems, and understanding them all, and being able to make an informed decision on where they follow and what they do.
Well, there's always a fun question when somebody who claims to be an expert in common law, ask them, what are the 4 jurisdictions of common law? And watch their response, because there are 4 different types of common law. And if they can't answer you the question, and I'm going to tell you what those answers are, but if they can't answer you that question, unless they've seen this video, then you need to turn around and walk away. So the 4 jurisdictions of common law are: 1, the first one is the common law, also commonly known as Anglo-Saxon common law. The second jurisdiction of common law is King's common law. The third jurisdiction of common law is English common law. Then we come over to the Americas, and the fourth jurisdiction is constitutional common law. All 4 are similar, but also very different. Those are the 4 jurisdictions. So you can ask, you're a constitutional common law, or you're a common law expert, are you? What are the 4 jurisdictions? Super simple.
Yeah. And there's probably like 1,000 more questions, real good critical questions these people can be asking, and the basic stuff. What is common law? Like you said, and let's break it down and let's learn what we're talking about. And because with specifically what's going on right now, it's okay. Where are the courts? Where are the common law courts? You would need to have the infrastructure to make any of these expressions a reality. So you need the infrastructure first. It makes just common sense, Well,
the government has to be seated in a common law jurisdiction. And the only way you can do that is to make sure that you have clauses within your constitution that recognize that jurisdiction of law. And in that constitution, in the United States, they recognized common law and equity law in the clause. I think it's section 11. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they recognize it, and and that's why it's called constitutional common law in the United States, because it's in their constitution.
And that's why, like Cullen, you hear me all the time at our rallies, why I'm always going on about words. Words are the most important part of civilization, because it's the words that we use that define the laws that keep the peace amongst such a vast array of different people. And you need to understand there's different definitions for words when it comes to legislation, when it comes to law, when it comes to policy, and then you're going to find in a Webster's dictionary. So, and that's why I'm always going on about words, because it's really, this is the basis of all of it. If you want to understand, if you want to comprehend, let me re-say that, because I don't want to say understand. If you want to comprehend common law, then you need to first start with the words.
Exactly. And look who joined us. If it isn't Jon Mihalich from Edmonton, Alberta, come in to give us a quick little update. As we know, Jon from the Concerned Parents of Alberta, Concerned Parents of Canada, he's the one that got all of this started with the occupational health and safety standards, and doing his live stream interview of his principal of his son, who just keeps peeking around the corner. There he is. Come on, Jax. Say hello to the audience.
Hello.
Thank you. Go ahead, Jon. Take it away,
How's it
brother.
going, everybody? Good to see you all again. We literally just walked in the door. It was a bit of a late day with one of the few people that are still employed in this landmass known as Canada. Chat, we almost ran out of gas on the way home. So a quick little story. So we stopped to get some gas. There's a homeless guy. Young guy, 25 years old. I said, he was grubby, right? I said, so why are you homeless? What's your story? Well, first words were the government. And I kind of said, don't say anymore. Him and his dad are currently living in a tent. And the police recently tore down all their tents. So now he's had to restart everything all over again. It just makes me sick, the conditions that we're stuck and that we're forced to live in, Granted, the people in Ottawa there, Miranda and the gang, they're all doing this voluntarily, but, life in a tent is rough, as they know firsthand, right? As for the update on what's been happening, I did get 2 responses, and not to my surprise, they both brushed it off to the higher-ups, as they put it. Neither one would have gave me a direct answer. They didn't answer any of my questions that I sent. There's a series of 6 or 8 or 10 questions. I forget it. I have to look again. But that's the update. Nothing. They're in direct violation of Occupational Health and Safety Code 15, Section 3, which requires them by law to have these disposal bins in place, considering it's a level 3 contagion. It's an infectious disease, and still nothing. I'm quite fortunate. Jax, I was going to homeschool him, but he is in school now, and he's not had to wear the mask all day long, which is surprising. And this is another thing I'd like to touch on. All these schools across the country are not reading the same book. Everyone's got a little different this, a little different that. Jackson, oh yeah, do it. Jackson.
It's the best school ever.
It's the best school ever.
You don't have to wear a mask in class or outside.
He doesn't have to wear a mask for most of the day. When he goes to the washroom, he has to wear a mask. And for, what was that thing called at night? Where you sit in the circle, you got to put your mask on?
like a gratitude circle.
Oh, gratitude circle. So for the gratitude circle, which is like maybe a minute or two long. So the time span that he actually has to be muzzled is quite limited, which I was quite surprised. And I did interview this principal before he started school, and I thought because of Bill 10 and Bill 24 that he outright lied to me, right? And it would appear that, you know, now we're a week into it. This is our first full week. That's not the case at all. He didn't lie to me. But that's not the situation with other schools. A friend of mine in Red Deer, yesterday, his kid came home crying. And I won't mention his name, but his kid came home, well, very, very sad because gym class was moved outside, so he took off his mask. The gym teacher forced him to put that mask back on.
That's happening all over the country.
Thugs.
That's happening all over the country. They have a set of policies, and then the teachers are scared, so they're changing their rules in their class, and they're in that moment. It's such hypocritical
It's child
policies in general, and then they're not even following what they do have there.
Well, and
He brought up a good point yesterday, and which was stand up, people. Get in there and voice your concerns. Do not let them be dictators to your children.
Yeah. Ed had just put up a picture that is being seen. Sorry, Miranda. This picture, you know, keep 2 meters apart. Apparently, they're all over the York region. You know, there's so much going on in the way of psychological trauma. Like, these kids are at zero risk. Not one child, with the exception of the one in Toronto, has died in Canada from the coronavirus. You know, healthy people do not spread this. This whole asymptomatic crap, this is a psyop, and it's a distraction. And they're just making, and the children who should be totally shrouded from this. Children shouldn't know this is going on at all. This should be an adult thing, an adult problem we talk about. Having these kids brought into this is literally a crime against humanity.
That just goes to show you that it's not about a virus, guys. That's what I'm saying. Like, the kids are not affected by this. And if anybody who watched the last show that Doug and I did on the Myth is Canada, I did provide a report. It was from Sunnybrook from April 12th, from the team that allegedly isolated COVID-19. And on that report lists all of their names, lists the dates, and it also included on lines 210 to 216, it says clearly that this virus has no effect on healthy immune tissue, nor can it replicate on healthy immune tissue, which means that asymptomatic people are literally walking vaccines. You cannot replicate the virus. So 99.98% of all people are walking vaccines as it is. So, and I believe that's what Doug it refers to when he says we've reached herd immunity in April.
yeah, and if you look at this, ladies and gentlemen, you got to understand, why are they doing this to our children? Well, it's a distraction. That's why they want you to pay attention to what they're doing to your kids while they actually screw you from behind. You know, you're bent over this way, and they're, you know, it's a horrible thing, but this is all about control. That's all this is. It's about control. And if they can get you angry over in this direction while they're messing around on the other side, with other things, that all of this is designed, like Kelly said, as a psyop. This is designed to keep you busy looking in the other direction. Why?
Yeah.
Oh.
The
Can I
whole
just make
coronavirus
Let Miranda
so just this morning.
let Miranda go first.
Sorry.
I just was saying the whole coronavirus happened just in time for the 5G to be deployed. It was just a big old cover up for what was really happening all around us, and we allowed it to happen.
Go for it, Kelly.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to say was, I don't know how many of you noticed this morning, but there was something in the news that said about how Justin Trudeau is he's going to provide $54 million to only our Black population. So I was going to put it up on Facebook, but I decided not to, because you guys have to realize, like, these sorts of things, that's absolutely racist what he released this morning. It's absolutely racist, and of course it's going to outrage people. Everybody in this country is hurting from this nonsense. And so for him to allocate go ahead, Doug.
No, I was going to say, why don't we just all dress up in blackface like he did, and then go collect our piece of the pie?
Yeah, well, that's the case. But see, the reason he did this is he wants that this is an intentional move to get you outraged.
I know.
To outrage people. This is all they care about, is division, because that's the only way they can conquer us. So we have to stick together.
Yeah. Another ploy to divide, just like when this all started, they had the prayers blasting on all of the radios across, or all of the loudspeakers across the country. You know, same thing. Now he's going to give the money to a certain race of people just to make the other race mad, and just so that we have that another little dig so we don't work together. So
we're coming up on the top of the hour, and we try to keep this to a 1 hour format for the audience. And so I'm going to go around the table, and we'll start with Cullen, and for any last words.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak here today. Guys, for the viewers at home, like, the winter is coming. The second wave is being created as we speak. So we have to band together now, put our differences aside, put the petty little things about, what your beliefs and your opinions aside for a second, join together, find groups that are doing this type of work. We need to unite now, right now. We need to draw the line. We have to be the change that we've been waiting for. And if we keep talking and arguing with each other about our opinions and feelings, we're never going to get anywhere. So the time is now. Please join us at Hugs Over Mass. Again, we have our chapters across Canada. We're doing weekly protests. We have a bunch of activism stuff we're planning for the winter, because, again, the winter is coming too, right? It's going to get cold. We're not going to be able to meet in person as much, so we have to get smart, right? We have to start doing stuff in malls. Civil disobedience is the way that we're going to have to push back, and to let the people know that we're not having this. And that's sort of my message, guys, is please, if you're out there, join us. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us here tonight, Cullen. Really appreciate you coming in. Kellyanne Wolf from the Line Canada, any last words before we call it a night here?
Yep, I agree with Cullen 100%. Winter is coming. Miranda and I were talking, and a few other people, and we're planning something. We're hopefully going to be making our way across the country and holding town halls. We want to bring this education to people in a very aggressive way, but a very productive way at the same time. Stay tuned. Stay in tune. All the organizations provide so much wonderful information. There's a wealth of information, guys, and you can always reach out and contact us personally. We do our best to get in touch with everyone. Tune in tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow to Lamont and I Across the Lines. You can get that at www.thelinecanada.com or thelineinternational.com, and it'll be on our YouTube channel. And yeah, that's exactly what Cullen was saying. Stand up. And to the women out there specifically, if you're a mother, you have an obligation to protect your children. This is nonsense. Masks don't help. They actually affect their immune systems in a negative way. They affect their sight. Like, over 780 kids have committed suicide under the age of 15 in the last 5 months. If that doesn't get you off the couch, you're the problem. And that's about it, guys. So good night to everybody.
Thank you, Kellyanne, and thank you for joining us on this roundtable. Kellyanne will be back with us on Sunday's special event roundtable, so look for that. I'm going to actually give it to Jon, and then I'm going to give it to Miranda, okay? So let Jon, because Jax wants to say something to the audience, and then we're going to put it back to Miranda.
We just want to very quickly, in about 30 seconds, go through what's happening at Jackson's school now. So, Jax. What happens when I drop you off in the morning?
Well, I walk to school.
Yeah, and then what happens? Do you have to stand in line? Do you social distance?
No.
No social distancing. Okay, and then they open the door and you go in.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do then?
Hand sanitizer.
Hand
Wipe it
sanitizer. Okay,
Wipe it off.
and wipe it off.
Yeah.
So you fake it.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. They only make you wear a mask to go to the bathroom,
Yeah.
but you put it under your nose. Sweet.
Yeah.
And for the circle thing at the end of the day, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that about sums up Jackson's day at his new school. And the reason I wanted to talk about this was, if your school is not doing something very similar, there's no social distancing, there's not mandatory masks from 8 till 4 o'clock or
Well,
whatever
you have
time they
to
get in or out.
social distance with other classes.
With other classes, yes. Well, that is still okay, I think. But if your school or anyone who's watching this is doing something like crazy and trying to implement this stuff where they have to wear their masks from start to finish, ask them why. Why is this happening in schools in Edmonton and it's not happening over here when it's all science-based proof that we provide, right? I'm quite interested to see what happens. I don't have the YouTube going, so I can't see what's happening in the chat, but I'd like to get some feedback on this and see what people get, because I know my friend down in Red Deer planned on taking the bull by the horns today at the school, and quite frankly, he may have got arrested. So I'm not quite sure how it turned out yet. I still have to look and see. But stay strong, Canada. Fight these people. Fight the government. Don't let them dictate to you like they are. You have rights. Learn what they are. Stand proud. Our forefathers died for this.
Thank you, John, for coming in this evening. Jon Mihalich will be also joining us on Sunday night on the special event Roundtable for Concerned Parents of Canada. Miranda.
Can you?
Yeah, I can.
No, but can you hear me?
We can hear you. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Miranda.
Well, I just want to say I agree with Cullen. That was very powerful. We need to unite. We need to unite now. Jon talking about his son, talking about what his day looks like. My daughter is in Alberta. She had similar experiences. She's been forced to wear her mask while running in gym. It's absolutely appalling what's going on. But at the same time, it's like what Doug said, it's a bait and switch. So they're using this to get us outraged just to cover up what they're actually doing and what their agenda is and where they're taking this country. So we need to unite. We need to unite now. So, yeah, I think that the first week of Parliament coming back into session is an important one. If they come back to silence, if they come back to an empty building, empty parking lot, or what's the difference between that and them coming back to a huge rally full of people that aren't leaving, that want to be addressed now, and we want to be talked to now? We will not leave until they address us. This cannot happen, without people and without noise. So that's our hope for the next few weeks coming up. Keep rising up. As Cullen said, keep rising up, and then we need to really send everybody in a direction, whatever that may be. We need to debunk all of this stuff that's not true and send people in the proper direction so that we can be the change, because we are the 99%.
Yep.
Karen, anything to say?
Amazing. And for the kids out there, be like Jax. Be like Jax. That's awesome,
Yes.
buddy. We love you.
Well, thank you very much, Miranda, and we're going to see Miranda. She is going to be a guest on this Sunday night on Concerned Parents, because she has 3 daughters, and they've gone back to school now as well. So it's been another wonderful roundtable. It's been great guests with Cullen McDonald from Hugs Over Masks, with Kellyanne Wolf from The Line Canada, Big John from Edmonton, Alberta, come in and joined us, even though he was a little bit late, and Miranda Remillard from Ottawa at the War Memorial Canadian Revolution. And once again, thank you very much. What a wonderful audience you are. I love having you. Love doing this every week, and seeing a lot of return customers, for lack of a better term, return watchers. It's great to have you here. And I'm going to hand this over to Ed, our infamous moderator, who's going to sing us out.
Yes, Doug. Let's have a sing-along. And for those that didn't catch it at the beginning of the show, enjoy. And don't forget to sing along. Here it comes.
Hi.
Come on, baby. Together we are mighty, we are the 99%. Order up your arms, if you're sticking, you will order up your arms.